Welcome to another NYNJPA weather, your weather source for the Northern Mid-Atlantic. I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. We're going to start this morning first with the visible satellite picture as of 11 a.m. And what we're basically seeing here is plenty of low clouds hanging around the Northern Mid-Atlantic because our warm front has basically stalled around Maryland and Delaware. Now you can clearly see that as one disturbance is leaving, we have a bit of a break and some clearing skies over southwestern Pennsylvania. Some of these clouds are going to break up, but because we're so close to the Atlantic Ocean and we have a northeasterly wind over many locations in the northern mid-Atlantic, that's going to keep some low clouds around. So expect breaks in the clouds this afternoon and evening. The good news is that we're going to get a break from any of the precipitation. So if you're going to a ball game this afternoon, especially the Mets-Phillies game at 3:05, at 3:10 should I say, and the Yankee game at 1:05, there will be no threat at all of precipitation, but the conditions will be a bit cool with temperatures in the 50s. Here's our surface map as of 11 a.m. and basically the tale for this weekend is that this high pressure system is going to move into the Atlantic, and that low pressure system over Oklahoma is going to track towards the eastern Great Lakes. And that's going to mean that this stationary front becomes a warm front and drives to the north. And when that happens, a lot of people are going to be happy. Let's take a look at the water vapor satellite picture, because I think that it really shows the complete picture of what's happening in the atmosphere right now. We have a lot of features on this water vapor satellite picture that I think I should point out here. First of all, the orange area, that's our ridge, and that ridge is going to start to expand. But it's very important where it is right now because it's basically warming up the southeast, developing our warm air mass for this weekend and into next weekend. Meanwhile, we have plenty of moisture coming out of the tropical Pacific, moving through the Gulf of Mexico and heading up towards the mid-Atlantic. And that is why we're having all these showers and weak disturbances, because these disturbances within this moisture is producing cloud cover and showers. So how long is this going to last? Well, you see this area in yellow that I have circled? That's our last strong disturbance with this pattern. And as this disturbance moves towards the St. Lawrence River Valley, this ridge is going to be able to build. And when that happens, everything is forced northward. The cloud cover, the rainfall, the raw conditions are all pushed into New England and into eastern Canada, and that puts much of the northern mid-Atlantic, that's the New York City and Philadelphia metropolitan area, into a very warm and pleasant pattern. So let's break down this forecast. What we have here is the European model guidance from the Penn State E-Wall, and this is for Friday evening. Now, for all of you going to the Mets home opener, that high pressure system just to the east of Boston is going to be your lifesaver. Notice how the pressure lines are all moving towards the southwest. That basically means high pressure is forcing a cool, dry air mass down the coastal plain ahead of this advancing low pressure system. As a result, I think that for the most part, the game at Citi Field for the Mets home opener will be dry, a little bit cool, but definitely dry, with a lot of the precipitation remaining south of the New York City metropolitan area and even the Philadelphia metropolitan area. I think on Friday afternoon, much of this steady rain will be over parts of Maryland and West Virginia, and then Friday night into Saturday, as this warm front finally pushes north, the best lifting and dynamics will be focused towards the Ohio Valley. So we'll expect a few scattered showers, perhaps a period of light rain, but not a heavy downpour. And by Saturday afternoon, most locations will be dry and much warmer, with temperatures reaching the lower 60s in portions of the Philadelphia metropolitan area and upper 50s for the New York City metropolitan area. By Sunday, high pressure is in full control. Notice the low pressure system, another one that is over the southern plains, is basically oriented from southwest to northeast. This low pressure system and the warm front associated with it are directed towards the central Great Lakes, and that means that the northern Atlantic is going to get very warm. When this type of pattern sets up, what you usually have is a low pressure system tracking towards central Ontario, perhaps southwestern Quebec, and a trailing cold front will follow, but that cold front will be weakening. So it really isn't all that impressive and doesn't produce much of an impact. So on Sunday, look for dry conditions, warm conditions with temperatures in the 60s and 70s, but you haven't seen anything yet. Let's take a look at Monday. On Monday afternoon, the low pressure system is moving into central Quebec by Monday evening. And you see this red line that's basically horseshoeing the northern Mid-Atlantic up towards Boston. Those are very high thicknesses, and the higher your thickness, the warmer the atmosphere. And that's really important because when we look at 850 millibars, I think you're going to like what you see. This is really interesting at 850 millibars. Notice that the warmest air is basically centered over New York City and Philadelphia. Now, what that basically means is that temperatures will not have any problem getting into the lower to mid 70s over the northern interior. And I would not be surprised if portions of southwestern New Jersey and southeastern Pennsylvania are in the lower 80s on Monday afternoon. So clearly we are looking at a very warm pattern. If you are in the Delaware River Valley and you have something to do on Monday afternoon or evening, you are going to have some excellent weather conditions. So if you have a Mets game or a minor league baseball game, I know a couple of them are opening up on this weekend and into Monday, you're going to have excellent weather conditions because the cold front is well to the west. And notice some of the moisture fields here, they're breaking up because the cold front is losing its punch. All of the cold air is focused in Canada, and there really isn't much in the way of a major air mass change behind this cold front. And as it's moving towards the east, it will continue to weaken. So I really don't expect much in the way of showers and thunderstorms as this cold front moves through Monday night into Tuesday. Now, your best chance for severe weather will be on Tuesday morning, but again, it's moving through at probably the worst time you could possibly want for severe thunderstorms if you're looking for them, because the atmosphere is going to be pretty stable for the most part, and it's really not the optimal time period to look for thunderstorms, especially when you have a weakening cold front. So while this cold front moves through on Tuesday morning, yes, it will not be as warm by Tuesday afternoon. We won't be in the 80s, but we'll still be in the 70s and 60s, which isn't that bad at all for this time of year. And for the middle of the week, high pressure is going to be in control. Weather conditions are going to be perfect. Temperatures are going to be above normal in the 60s to lower to mid 70s. Of course, the warmer conditions will be focused over the Philadelphia metropolitan area and in the Delaware River Valley, but you get the point. Next week is going to be beautiful. You only have one threat of rain on Tuesday morning, if that. And then after that, high pressure's in control all the way through Friday. And then we're going to have to keep an eye on an interesting storm. This is the 500 millibar pattern for Saturday night into Sunday. Now, what I'm concerned about is that we're dealing with a very progressive pattern, but there's these teleconnections I like to use, is called the MJO. And the MJO does suggest that there is a potential for a cutoff low to develop over the southeast and the southern mid-Atlantic, and we're starting to see those hints show up in the long-range model guidance. Now, it's nothing to get worried about just yet, but if this should happen, if this upper-level disturbance over the Carolinas is able to cut off and basically spin over the southeast and southern mid-Atlantic, well, that would produce a rather prolonged period of southeasterly winds from the surface up through the mid-levels. And that means overcast skies and periods of rain, and that rain could add up quite a bit. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this situation for next weekend. For now, just keep it in the back of your mind. It's not a major storm. It's more of a nuisance that just won't go away if it should develop. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But overall, again, we're looking at a very progressive and warm pattern. Even in this setup, we're going to remain rather warm with temperatures in the 60s and 70s. So if you've been waiting for spring and wishing for it and tired of all the snow, well, here it is. It's on the way, and I hope everyone enjoys it. Thank you for trusting in NYNJPA Weather as your weather source for the Northern Mid-Atlantic. I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. Have an excellent day.